Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everybody. Just gonna do a stream announcement here. Okay, today we're gonna do some 7 Wonders and Wingspan. We'll see if we have time for more than one game of 7 Wonders, but we're gonna start off with just one. And we've got Rhodos. Man, same thing happened last time I did this. We had Rhodos twice. Now it'll be one more time. Okay. So potentially, excuse me, potentially some competition around early stone here, but we got to go for it. B-side. So Babylon and I would both like to have stone for our wonders. Marketplace, I do really love Marketplace. Hey Scoomy, thanks for stopping by. Scoomy, do you play Wingspan? I think you play Wingspan. Do you play 7 Wonders? I think I'm just going to Stone Pit. I hope Marketplace makes its way back around to me and someone else goes Science. Yeah, we're good for this for sure. This hand might be kind of crappy by the time it gets back to us, but we'll see. Hoping Alexandria decides to be a scientist here. Actually, maybe I'm not hoping that. I don't know. I still don't understand the matchups very well. I have grown very fond of this game. So we get Babylon able to beat us on military if they want to this phase. Because we're handing them one of these military cards. Let's see. Alexandria just going for Alter. Scoomy says mediocre Wingspan player. I bet you're not bad. I'll creep on your rating later. Yeah, so let's see. So maybe we assume that the barracks are making their way back around to us. Although it would be pretty disastrous to not get any this game. Alright, we'll go barracks here. I think we're losing military this round, though. Marketplace comes back around. I think that's the easy choice here. Seems like nobody's going Science. And yeah, Babylon snipes the second military as expected. So they're going to beat us this stage. There's no way to access three stone stage 1 unless the wonder that starts with stone is in the game, which I don't know which wonder that is, but they're not here. So, and then the ore vein comes back around, so I think that's okay. I think I'm okay going to the next round with just the 2 coins, and then we hope for Caravansary in our hand, as we so often do. So Babylon's got us on the military lead. They haven't built their wonder stage yet. We do get Caravansary. I think that's an auto pick here. So now we don't need to build any more resources to afford our wonder stages. We can always pay for the last ore. What did they do here? Brickyard and archery range. So we do want to grab... If we can grab one of the 2 cost militaries, 2 shield militaries, I think we can win this stage if we get aggressive about it. We'll see how this looks. So, given that we can afford our first stage, I'm not too worried about coins. I'm not going to take Vineyard here. I'm not too interested in blocking Alexandria at this stage for Science. I think I'm just going to grab the points with the Aqueduct. And so now this walls are coming around, so we love that. It's exactly what we wanted to see. So this phase we can choose to either tie or win military. depending on what these cards look like. These cards to me look like we want to maybe try to win military. I don't know how much that forum's doing for me. I think that's the one thing I would go for here is pay 2 for the forum. And then plan to bury military twice. I think that the forum is totally overkill with the marketplace. Got coins coming in here. I might get paid for some stuff. Yeah, Alexandria is pointing towards me, as well as my opponent. So, all right. So what are we going to bury? I think we are going to bury the forum here. That's probably of the most value to these guys. And now we could get an influx of coins, and if I was tracking cards better, I'd remember what was in this hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There'd be 8 coins from the vineyard, which is like almost 3 points straight up anyways. I wish I remembered what was in that other hand. Let's see if we can figure it out. We had 2 berries. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to figure that out. We're going to take the vineyard and try to play it safe, because I think we're looking pretty good here. And now, yeah, good. So now we bury. We win military this age. We go into the last round with pretty good resource situation, to be honest. Our economy's looking good. And our opponents are fighting each other on science a little bit. So do we have a massive points lead or just a points lead? We have a massive points lead. Okay, so this hand, I like 3-player because you get to see all of these hands twice. So I know this hand's coming back around. We've got Senate, Gardens, and Builders Guilds. All are really valuable. All of which I'll be able to afford. So I'm throwing down fortifications to start here to try to defend my military position. Now either of my opponents will need to play 2 military cards to surpass me. And I know I'm getting a good card coming around the second time. Okay, so we've got a lot of yellow down. We could consider trying to get the lighthouse next time around. But I think Decorator's Guild is safe. It's just a guaranteed 7 points here. And we'll get something good coming around. So let's see what this hand has in it. Workers Guild? Not sure. Seeing both of these military in the same hand, which I could have figured out by process of elimination, is wonderful for us here. It's a really good break because it means that neither of our opponents can surpass us unless they took it their first hand and their second hand. So at this point, we are clear for the military win unless I'm mistaken. So Workers Guild is just 5 points straight up. I think that's our best move here. Then this hand's going to come back around and be pretty useless for us on our last hand, right? 5, 4, 3, 2. This is the downside of burying in the middle of last round. We're just going to take Workers Guild because it's good points here. Scoomy says, have you played Wonderful Plays at all in this? He's quite strong, right? Yes, I have. He is, by quite strong, you mean like by far the highest rated player. Let's see, I think this is Magistrate's Guild. Who am I paying and does it matter? I'm going to pay the opponent with fewer points more. Wonderful Plays is very good at this game. They're like top ranked by an ELO by like a large margin. I did actually play them on their alt once, and apparently, according to them, the other opponent, the third player, just like suicided pretty hard. So I managed to win that game. So not to brag too much, but I think I got pretty lucky. So this is the hand that we knew would have something good. I think it's just Town Hall, right? Yeah, it's just like 6 versus 4 points. It's pretty easy math. I gotta be careful about who I'm paying. I should have been smarter about that. And then this hand, we've got this opponent with 5, this opponent with 4 shields. No one with any other way of getting shields, so it's actually more points to just discard here. And I think that we win. Let's see. But yeah, Wonderful Plays is a very, very strong player. Oh yeah, so Babylon has 2 plays. Yeah, but they're losing military. I think we got this. Let's see. 60. Oh yeah, we got that by a good margin. Tough game by Alexandria. I have not personally figured out how to play that wonder very well. But, Okay, not bad. We're up to 350 elo. That's better. On to Wingspan. We are going to be very careful about setting the time controls here to something slow. So what are we doing? We're playing with a bunch of opponents, and yeah, so these are the settings we want. I really don't want to play a fast game. So let's go. See what we get for an opponent. So I think I started waxing poetic about this last stream, and then I forgot to follow through, but Seven Wonders to me is more like Terra Mystica, which is kind of the only game I've streamed to this point, than I initially realized. It's a totally different format, because it's like a pick and cast game. Okay, so we get a pretty strong opponent. As opposed to like a worker placement, resource management, map, and cult board situation. So like the format is very different, obviously. But like you build economy in a similar way. There's like 3 stages, so the first third of the game you're pretty much just building economy. You can get points along the way. And there are 7, and then you get points towards the end of the game. You focus on point scoring based on your economy. And there are 7 asymmetric boards with A sides and B sides. So it is very similar to Terra Mystica in a couple of very specific ways. How's this view? Can I get this a little bit easier to see? Yeah, I think that's a little better. Okay. So what do we got? We've got a pretty strong opponent. Yeah, almost 500 rated opponent, so maybe a little bit of uphill battle. See what we can do. We've got some pretty good bonus cards. Bird counter, fishery manager. Bird counter is kind of an auto pick a lot of the time. We've got some decent cheap opening birds with one other bird that has some utility. These two are a little bit duplicative. The titmouse and the woodpecker, they do the same thing. So let's see. What do we want? We've got a nuthatch in the tray, which is really good. So my opponent has first take. They might take that. And then for round goals, we've got bowl nest eggs. Hummingbird will be good for that. Ground nest eggs, both of which are just number of birds with that. Sets of eggs in each habitat, which I can explain if people haven't played that before. It's not the most intuitive. And then birds in grassland. Birds in grassland, not eggs in grassland. So, in any case, it looks like a pretty egg-heavy scoring situation. So, so we want to have a wetlands bird. That's the one thing here, is that without any card draw, this could look really ugly. And I like both of these because they're solid cards generally, useful, and also they meet the first 2 round goals. Scooby says, I would consider just keeping the hummingbird and trashing the others. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I want 4 food, though. I guess the tray is not very flexible, so I guess I would go hummingbird in the wetlands. Which is a little bit goofy. That could work, wetlands hummingbird. I think I want to hold on to the sparrow, though. I'm not too worried about keeping that much food, so we're going to definitely keep these 2. Because got to decide at some point. I really do only have like an hour to play here. And don't need the berry. Maybe we just do this, since everything else is in the tray. Maybe that. And I think we're going to keep bird counter. I like the ones that are 2 points per. Hopefully we get at least 1 or 2 tuck and lays, or something like that. Or rather, tuck and draw. Those are the best. I really like those birds. So, our opponent kept 2 cards, same 3 food that we did. Let's see if they go for the nuthatch. Because if I can get the nuthatch, I think I'm going to snag the nuthatch and then go wetland hummingbird. Potentially. Grassland's hummingbird is really strong though. But they do grab the nuthatch, so we'll see what we get in the tray. King Rail, not what you'd want to see round 1, really. Scoomy says, though I guess the lack of wetlands birds is the problem. Yeah, I really don't want to get stuck in that way. So this is a bit awkward. They've got probably some decent options. They kept 2 cards in addition to their first pull. Plus, like I mentioned, this seems to be a pretty strong player. So I think I'm going to play the Hummingbird in the wetlands. I don't know if it's greedy enough, but I think we're going to go for it. Unless we just... Yeah, we need a wetlands bird. I don't think the King Rail is it. Yeah. We're going to do the kind of safer play, which might not be the right play in this situation, but we're going to see how this goes. So we are going to be feeding our opponent some food. Oh, I didn't even check my opponent's discard. This could be a rough game. Ring Build Goal, Northern Flicker, Oyster Catcher. Yeah, so Oyster Catcher was like their only not amazing card to start off, I guess. And they're being smart. They're playing the card that we've already seen in their forest, so we're still a little bit blind as to what's going on in the rest of their hand. We have the food we need to play this bird. So I think we're just going to do that. We're going to greed an extra egg here. So what the sequence is here is lay eggs and then draw cards. Early in the game, I would say I almost always lay eggs before drawing cards. Because it lets you pull that extra card. Particularly in this situation where I don't have additional card draw and there's nothing good in the tray that I want, definitely. This way with 1 action, Blackbird. So I think they've got a very specific plan here. I wonder if their 3rd card they started with is like a draw 2, keep 1 situation for their wetlands. And the Blackbird does allow them to hit this first round goal, so not the scariest bird I've ever seen, but doesn't look great. So we're just going to draw here, pull 2 cards, see what we get. Kingbird we can use. Kingbird's not bad. Shoveler. Yeah, so I think... I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm going to grab a cherry here, a berry, so that we can play this Kingbird. And I think we just play the Kingbird in the forest, so that we have some amount of forest action going on. So I'm going to pull a berry so we can play it. My opponent gets a choice of 3 food, which is not great. The Oyster Catcher and the Gull are both pretty good, says Scooby. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel like Oyster Catcher I don't have my head wrapped around as much. I mean, early on, I guess it makes less sense. Yeah, okay, so they've got the snipe. So what this is going to do is going to feed me extra cards, which is fine. And it's going to feed them extra cards, which is going to be more useful for them, since they've got Tuck and Lay in their middle row. It's also a nest type that helps them out with round 2. So, not the worst I've ever seen, but not amazing. So they don't have any cards in their hand. They're probably going to draw cards next. I think I'm going to play the Kingbird. Like I said, I think I do want to play it in my forest. I think I got to have some forest going. So I'm not going to get to use the Kingbird's power right now. They don't have any cards to play to make that possible. What the Kingbird does is it gives you a worm every time your opponent plays a grassland bird. Yeah, okay, so I failed to see... Ooh, but we get the mallard, so that's good. I failed to see the benefit of the Sprague's Pipit in the tray. That helps with a round 2 goal. But we are 100% drawing bird cards here because we want that mallard. That's a really good early economic bird. Draw from the deck. Wetlands Hummingbird actually doesn't feel too bad here. Yeah, taking 1 more. So what we're going to be able to do here is... make them first. And then we'll get what we need to play the mallard. So I think we just take worm here to deny that cube. Give our opponent fewer options. So we've got what it takes to play the mallard and then lay eggs to win the round 1 goal. Our nest types do look really good here. I've got 2 totally reasonable, if a bit expensive, options in my hand to play to get to 3 ground nests by the end of the round. Both my opponent and I with 10 points showing. One action to go after this. The oyster catcher, Tsugumi says, is a slightly worse version of the stilt. Yeah, that's true. The stilt is just... Yeah, that's true. I think the oyster catcher might be worth more points, but yeah, early on. Just gives your opponent an extra card that lets you see 3. Okay. I think we play the mallard here because there's not much reason not to. And then we'll be able to lay 3 eggs. I don't hate this. We're doing okay. We're not getting many raw points. These are all pretty bad scoring birds, but never too worried about that round 1. Unless I'm taking like a really specific strategy that doesn't come up too often, I would say. They draw the king rail. I get the chipping sparrow. I love that. But we're gonna lay. Win this round goal. Which is a nice little points edge. And now we get a trade to ourselves. Let's see what we get. This is nice. We've got a green swallow in the tray, which does hit our bonus card as well. I guess the stilt hits 1 more bonus card too, says Scooby. Wow. Yeah, I do not have bonus cards memorized quite like that. I'm impressed that you have a sense of that. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. That's cool. Okay, so we need cards, so we may as well draw cards and get food here. Do I want the warbler? That's some good points. Okay, best practice, I'm going to draw from the deck first because I don't want all 3 of those birds, and I'm pulling 3 cards. So let's see what we get. Trumpeter Swan. That's good points, and it is an option to hit if there's a lot of... If we get flooded with wheat somehow with seeds here, we can't hit the round 2 goal with that, so that's good. I'm definitely getting the green swallow. Right? Am I getting the warbler? I kind of think I may as well. I feel like my opponent's going to be pretty happy to pull the warbler if not. And I've got enough useful cards here that I think I do want to be able to start scoring. We're going to go chipping sparrow in the forest, and then violet green swallow in the middle row, I think. We should have time to get down. So I want access to this. And we should have time to get down, hopefully, 1 more decent point bird with a ground nest to be able to win this end of round goal. We got 6 actions left. So this isn't looking bad at all, really. We do see the flycatcher come up in the tray, which provides extra food. Wouldn't be too surprised if my opponent pulls that. But yeah, so we've got extra card draw, so we would like to have a tuck and lay bird. Our hand's flooded here. We are flooded with birds. But let's keep going with the plan here. I think chipping sparrow is going to be worth it at this stage. It's just a cheap... I want to draw food next, and it's just a cheap bird that can get me some good options. Now is when I'm wishing I didn't have the hummingbird in the bottom row. But you know what? These things happen. Chipping sparrow. So I don't think it's too late. We're still early round 2. I don't think it's too late in the game for the chipping sparrow. And it's really useful to have egg laying in your forest. Chickadee for them. Gets me a free food. I love that. This looks nice. Our timing is kind of working out pretty well here. Our opponent still has some really good stuff going on. They've got, what, 6 cards in hand? It looks like they're stockpiling some fish for some kind of nice wetland bird there. We'll see what they do with that. But I think we're going to gain food. We don't need any of these. And then we're going to hope for worm. Because I want to get this violet green swallow down. We're going to lay on the bird that gets us points for this end of round goal. So we are in the lead on that. They've only got 1 ground nest. But I would not be surprised if they had another one coming with those 6 cards in their hand. So I've got 4 actions left. I want to play the green swallow. Yeah, ideally I'd play the green swallow. Get the food I need to play 1 more ground nest bird. Play that bird and then lay eggs. So in order to do that, I think I'm going to gamble right now. What's round 3 goal? Sets of eggs, great. And we do want to keep building our grasslands to hit 5 by the end of the last round, which I'm not too worried about, but we need to keep it in mind. So I'm going to try to be greedy, because if I can pull 2 seeds here, I don't see my opponent playing another forest bird right away. So we're not getting free food there. If I can pull 2 seeds here on the reroll, then I'll be able to play the trumpeter swan. Right? Gain food, play trumpeter swan, play green swallow, lay eggs. It's 4 actions. And I can almost guarantee a win. Nope, we don't get it. That's okay. So instead, I think that's going to be helpful. We may as well grab a fish. We do have some cards that take that in hand. Nope, we're going to grab berry for the flycatcher. 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we can't swoop this end of round goal, I don't think. So we'll give ourselves the option to play the flycatcher if we do pick it up. Alright, let's see how this goes. Alright, Scoomy says... the stilt hits colors and body parts. Oystercatcher hits geography. Scooby says, once you hit the violet green swallow in the grasslands, you'll get your tuck and draw going. Yeah, exactly. It's so valuable to have the tuck and draw going. In general, I mean, at this stage of the game, I think it's nice to have it in grasslands because you're gonna want to lay eggs at some point anyways, so you may as well be able to get cards while you're getting eggs. And then if you have a really good card comes up in the tray, you don't have to waste a draw cards action for it. Because honestly, at this stage, the mallard and the hummingbird may have done their job. I might not draw cards for the rest of the game. Okay, so now we're wishing that we had waited on drawing food here, but there's no way for us to know that there weren't going to be 2 seeds. It's a decent chance of that. So we'll play the green swallow. I'm trying to decide whether this flycatcher is any good at this stage. I think it might be. I've got some big point birds. And I've got extra cards. So it'll get me to a threshold where I can be pulling 4 food, including the one from the flycatcher if I see a worm in the bird feeder. So I think it's worth it. It's worth 5 points on its own. I've got the food in hand for it. I think it's not too late to play that card. So I think I'll tuck like the cormorant. The cormorant does hit my bonus card, but I don't know. I'll tuck the cormorant, pull the flycatcher if I have the option. So what's my opponent up to? They've got 3 actions left this round. They still only have 4 birds down, one of which has the appropriate nest type for this round goal. We've said that I do not have what it takes to win this end of round goal. So it's possible they could surpass me on it. More likely, I think they're going to time me on it, and I'm okay with that. I could have done things a little bit differently to guarantee that I had it, but it would have been a little bit wasteful because it would have meant I was kind of not getting my grasslands to this configuration before I laid eggs at the end of the round. So at this point, we do see 3 seeds in there. We want to be able to play the swan. What did they do? This double chickadee, or the chickadee not hatched in the top row, is like really nice. I love that kind of scoring. It's just 2 points every time. So we've got 2 actions left. They got a lot of food in their hand. So I think they're going to play bird and then lay eggs to end the round, I would guess. If they have another ground nest to lay eggs again. So I don't think this food's going anywhere. I'll have the option to take it if I want it. So we're going to go 1, 2. Nope. So we want to start getting sets of eggs. We got 1, 2, 3. We said we were going to tuck the cormorant, pull the flycatcher, and hope nothing good comes up in the tray for our opponent. And then we'll lay eggs here. Why not? Quail. They have the red-winged blackbird in the grasslands. I kind of hate that, says Scoomy. I missed some stuff, excuse me. Grasslands engine is the most reliable win if you can set it up. Yeah, particularly with this arrangement of end round goals. It's pretty sort of clear that round 3 and 4 in particular are beneficial for a good grasslands. And you gotta, yeah. Sprague's Pipit in the grassland. Yeah, we did know that they had that card, so I could have remembered that, but I failed to. Scooby says the cormorant still only effectively 5 points. You probably won't use its effect at all. Exactly. Scooby's talking about how this tuck and lay bird naturally belongs in the wetland, but even there it can starve you of cards. Yeah, that's how I feel about tuck and lay birds in general. I feel starved of cards a lot with them. If I put them in the wetlands. Last week I was streaming, and Lumen, who I think is a former #1 Wingspan player, if not, he came very close. He's like arena champion and #1, or one or both of those things. Very strong player. Was talking about how he felt that Grassland's tuck and lay cards were really reliably strong. So that was interesting to hear. I didn't get a full sense, I don't think, of why Lumen thought that. But in this case, with the Wilson snipe in the grasslands, in the wetlands, giving extra card draw, that's the exact situation I like to have a grasslands tuck and lay bird for. So I get why they did it, but their game looks a little bit slow to me. Okay, I think I'm gonna play the flycatcher here. Because they're gonna need to lay eggs. So I can start off next round, hopefully, get this food that I need. And I'll be ready for that. So we're going to just do this. And we're going to tie this end of round goal. And we'll go into next round with a bit of a lead. So we like that. Scoomy says, well, he would know better than me. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I was like, I don't quite understand why, but I do trust that you're correct. I don't like using the word correct in board games most of the time, but Lumen, I trust that you know exactly what you're talking about here. All right, so they get Clark's Grebe and Red-Eyed Vireo in the tray, both of which are like really nice early game birds, and they like them well enough to do it right now too. That star, yep, they grab both of them. Those star nests are really good for bonus cards, and we get a blackbird, which is pretty awesome, honestly, and a grackle. So we have all sorts of options here. Getting to the point in the game where I should be able to kind of count my actions and have a sense of what's possible. We've got a lot of good high point birds. The warbler, the other warbler, the trumpeter swan. We got a prairie chicken we can play. We're going to focus on those birds that we can play in our middle row here. So the question becomes, can I get through the rest of this game without drawing cards? And do I even need to? How many cards do I think I'm discarding in order to get in order to get food in my top row here? So we got some good cards. We got to figure out what our round looks like. And I like this grackle. I do like this grackle for our grasslands because it's going to just keep racking up more points with the extra cards we've got on hand. I could see us playing just 3 more cards for the rest of the game, potentially. But food draw looks good too with all of these birds. So let's look at sets of eggs. This is why I've put the timer on slow. I feel bad for my opponent. This is going to be a very long game. For sets of eggs, they're looking at, they're set up for like 6. But they're probably not going to hit that. I am ahead on them. They picked up a wetlands bird that'll get them to 4 in the wetlands. So if they really push on this goal, they're going to... I mean, they've got 7 cards in their hand. I don't know exactly what's going on, but they're going to have options to hit like at least 4 eggs in each row. But we are ahead of them right now. So, and we've got slightly better egg laying than they do. Sort of. I think I'm going to gain food. Look to play the warbler. And then lay some eggs. Warbler. I could play the warbler in the forest. Okay, we're going to grab 1, 2 of these, because we will use them. And then we're going to discard the Merganser to reroll. Perfect. We do get two worms here. We're going to pick up this other worm. So this food's all going to be really useful for these big point birds we've got going in our hand here. And the egg laying in our forest is coming in useful here. Doesn't really matter where I lay it, which bird. Just want to start working on those sets of eggs. So the sets of eggs, in case anyone, I was confused about this goal when I was playing over the table before I played online. It's basically you just count how many eggs there are in each of your 3 rows, and whichever is the least number of those, that's your value for that goal. So we're getting the forest double play here. I bet those rats are going to get used right now. Screech owl, not bad. So they've got some nice food going on. But they do give us a worm in the process. Thank you very much, Kingbird. Scoomy says, I like the Vireo late. If effectively it's just a free 2 points in a star nest if your econ's strong enough. If you already have a high 4-point forest bird you want to play late, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Star nests are usually pretty sexy too. Alright, so the question becomes, do I have the juice to play like Warbler and then Warbler? Like, Do I play... No, I don't, because only this Warbler can't go in my forest. It can't, yeah. So if I play Warbler in the forest for points, then I'm drawing cards. Then I can... Then I can get the food to play... Yeah, I think I'm going for it. This could be a mistake, but I've still got 5 actions left. So I think we're going to get a little bit greedy. And my opponent still is capped at 2 sets of eggs until they play more birds. So we're going to do this. Give ourselves a really strong forest. Then we have what it takes to play the Warbler right now if we force it down with some food. But I think what we're going to do is just draw food, build out our grasslands, and lay eggs as best we can in order to meet this round goal. And we definitely, I think we got the cards we need. I'm giving up on the Grackle at this point. I think we've got enough high point birds that the Grackle doesn't provide enough value. I'd rather just get the points straight up than have my egg laying actions be worth a little less. We are hanging tight with points here. So they grabbed a lot of food. They've still got 5 cards in hand, so that looks pretty nice for them. So what we're going to hope to do, we're going to get this Prairie Chicken and this Warbler down. And we're going to hope to tuck draw the Shoveler enough times, like we're going to tuck through the rest of our cards, to get one more acceptable Grasslands bird to cap our Grasslands by the end of the game. That's my thought. But for now, what I want to do is get enough food for the Warbler and the Prairie Chicken. Beautiful. So we want 2 seeds, 3 worms. My opponent's got a lot of food. I'd rather give myself the flexibility, I think. And we will get ourselves another worm here. I will say, as far as my prospects for one final Grasslands bird, I think I'm not going to quite have the food for it. So we'll see what we pull. I think I'm like 1 food short of capping my Grasslands efficiently. But, you know, they've only got 2 cards in their Grasslands, so we'll see. I think they're going to get a lot of bird points and a lot of bonus card points. We're just going to have to see where we land relative to that. So first things first, let's play this Prairie Chicken because I want to see what the bonus card is. It could potentially inform some future decisions here. We've only got 2 actions left this round. Okay. Historian, I do have 2 of those, and then a Wetland Scientist. So it's going to be Historian. That's also good news, because I think they've got a couple of Historian cards themselves, so that means they don't have that card. Love that. So we are looking at 6 points from bonus cards at the moment. Which, you know, could be worse. Alright, so if I play Warbler, King Rail, and Wetland. Okay. So they're going to have the ability to lay eggs and get to 3. They have 2 sets. If I play the Warbler and then lay eggs, that gets me to 4, 5. That gets me to 2 sets as well. So is it worth just laying eggs here? Twice. Gets me 2 fewer points, but it does swing quite a bit of points here, so that's gotta be worth it, right? So we're just going for it. Let's load them up. Right, am I doing that math right? I've got 5 eggs. Play the Warbler gets me down to 3. lay eggs again is another 5, so 3 plus 5 is 8. Not quite enough to beat them on the end round goal, right? If they lay, they get 4 eggs. So we're laying. I think that's a better plan. I think we gotta hold on to our food here. Unless we think we're definitely taking one more forced action, but it feels pretty inefficient. Particularly because we might be able to beat them on the end round goal. Without a 5th forced fruit. Alright. We're drawing from the deck. We get a chicken and a hatch. That's not what we want. That's okay. 3, 3. And now let's do a quick egg check. So we play the warbler and lay eggs 4 times, right? 5 times. If all we're doing the rest of the game is playing the warbler and laying eggs, then we get 5 times 5, that's 25 eggs. And the warbler gives us 4 more egg slots, basically. So that's 31. So we would be capped on eggs a little bit. Sorry to do that math out loud. That was probably confusing. But our opponent's spending a lot of thinking time. They're down to 3 cards. So their game is very, like, bird point focused at this stage. They took 1 of their 3 cards, so I think it's looking okay for us here. They lay eggs to get to 2 sets, and we've got exactly 2 sets, so I think we just want to lay eggs here. We don't want to play the warbler, because we'd like to keep our 3 sets intact. And I don't know about food. Yeah, maybe we do get food. Because if I pull food now, then I have what it takes to play the swan. And we said I was going to be capped on eggs, right? Nah, we want to be able to at least get a 5th grassland bird down. If we have the option. Oops. Lay eggs. So we're going to go for 4 sets, because why not? 1, 2. It's possible I should be using food for my cards for my egg lay there. But Gallinule's nice. Doesn't go in the middle row though. So we win this end of round goal. We're keeping ourselves in contention for the last one, that's for sure. We are. Okay, is a Mississippi kite good enough? Do we like the kite enough to draw the kite? I don't think we like it enough to draw. I'll waste another egg yet. So we get the warbler down. Our points look nice. Our opponent does have 3 bonus cards, though. So I'm willing to bet they're scoring up over 10 easy. They could have a scary, like, 16 points with those, depending. They play a grebe in the wetland, yeah, so that's good for nest types. So they could have, like, yeah. So I think we shouldn't have been too worried about filling our 5th grassland slot here. I think at this stage, we've got 4 actions left, 5 eggs, so we are going to waste 2 points if we just lay eggs the whole time. So let's see what we can get for another bird to play. Can't afford the swan. Don't think we want to waste our time with the forest action, right? Well, in any case, we are going to be laying eggs right now, so. do have a couple folks hanging out, not chatting, so if you feel like chiming in, go for it. If not, that's cool too. I'd be curious who's here for the Wingspan and who's here for the Seven Wonders. I don't know if I quite have time for another game of Seven Wonders after this, but we might force it. We'll see. See how quickly we can wrap this one up. But it's looking like it might be worth it to gain food and play the Swan. Doing that would be 9 points. I get an egg off the Chipping Sparrow and I pay an egg for the Swan. So 9 points for 2 turns, as opposed to 8 points for 2 turns, I think, if my grasslands is capped. I don't know if I'm doing that math right. The thing of it is, they're drawing cards, so it is possible that they're going to be able to get that 5th slot in the grasslands. So I might pull the Mississippi Kite to be safe. Nah, because they've got the last action, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, and there's a Roadrunner. Ooh, that's nice is the thing. Is that the play? Is that what we want to do? Man, it's so close. We are 1 food short of getting that Roadrunner down. If I gain food, play Roadrunner, lay eggs, that is 5 points, 6 points, plus I can lay 5, 6, 7. That's not great, right? 13 points for 3 actions, with a guaranteed win or tie of the end of round goal. If I lay eggs 3 times, oh man, this is the type of math that I'm struggling with here. Scoomy says, I think Swan is best play, so we just hope for cheap enough bird draw because we don't have enough egg space for 3 egg actions. Yeah, exactly. Swan is best play, 3 egg lays 16. All right, I'll take your word on that one. 3 egg lays is 16. The Roadrunner is worse than that unless it lets us win the end of round goal. At this point, I gotta figure they don't have what it takes to beat me at 4 birds. And then the Swan would then be... So the Swan would then be 8 points to play it, because it costs an egg. 9 points because gaining the food from the Chipping Sparrow lets me the eggs. That's 9 points plus 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I count 15 for the Swan. Yeah, okay. I think we just lay eggs because this tuck and draw, it's lame, but we're doing it. And yeah, they would need some serious bonus cards, but they might have some serious bonus cards. I mean, they're a very strong player. I'll grab this from them. They're a very strong player who had a decent starting hand. So we're just gonna, I think we waste 2 eggs by just laying. And I think that's fine. So on this next one, we will grab the kite. I guess that would have been the better play. And then, so we're going to lay eggs, tuck and draw. And then if we think that they're going to beat us at the end of round goal and the math works out, we can always play the kite. Because they've got 3 actions left. So if they've got a double play bird, I bet they're tying us, and I'm fine with that. We've got a heavy points cushion. And still 6 points off of bonus cards, which is, I think it should be enough to hold them off, but we'll just see. Right now, their only way to make serious points is by playing birds, you know? Laying eggs only gets them 5 points right now. It's not bad. Yeah, so that's the thing, Scoobies. I'm kind of afraid they are crushing bonus cards. But if they're just laying eggs at this point, I don't know. get 4. Oh, and we only waste 1 egg after all. I think my math was wrong earlier. Does not matter what we draw here, I don't think. Yellow throat. Oh yeah, no, we're wasting 2 eggs, that's right. Okay. So we get 4 points for our next play. What is that? 88 plus, we hope 7 for the end of round goal. 95 plus these bonus cards would put us at 101 if we win the end of round goal. Less than that if they tie us. And they're at 61 points before bonus cards and end of round goal with 2 actions left. So I think we've got this. I think this is safe. I expect to see some double-digit numbers for them for these bonus cards. But yeah, like they could have the forest one and or the wetland one, like birds in forest that play in forest, birds in wetlands that play in wetlands. They have at least one nest type one. I think they've probably got like the cavity nest bonus card. Yeah, there goes another one. Yeah, so their bonus cards are going to be like 15. They could have 20 points off of bonus cards. But nothing to be done about it at this point. We're just laying our eggs. You can still lay more eggs. No, I can't. Come on, interface. But I don't think it's going to be enough. We finish things off with a goldfinch. Forest only gets them 3 or 4 points unless they play a 5th bird. Okay. Yeah, I don't have the point values memorized for those. So yeah, this might be yeah, they're just laying eggs. Yeah, we got this. I think we got this. But still a nice game by our opponent here. They're going into endgame scoring down like 20, so. Does our opponent speak English? They do. So nest box builder like we thought. Oologist is always a good one to see. And photographer for 0. Okay. So they didn't crush them. Solid. But no GG in response. Guess they weren't too happy about this one. Or else they don't like talking in chat, which is fine. Alright, so we get ourselves a nice win against a strong opponent. Love to see that. So I'm in the 300s of elo at this game right now. But I was up close to 450 before I started playing really sleep deprived for a while. We are hoping to eventually make it to 500, so we'll see how long that takes, but that is the goal. Up to 375, not bad. And Scoomy says, I haven't found Wingspan opponents to be very chatty. Yeah, I guess that's kind of true of me too. I wonder why that is. I think usually in shorter games people don't, like 7 Wonders, people don't usually say GG or anything like that. Alright, we are gonna do one more quick game of 7 Wonders. Hope for a little victory lap here. TM is by far the most interactive game that I found. Yeah, it's really nice. I like that about it. I mean, I'm sure how chatty people are is kind of somewhat correlated with how long the game is. If you're stuck with opponents for, an hour and a half, like you often are in a TM game, then you're more likely to be chatty. But it seems to just have a good community. I mean, listen, Terra Mystica is like the greatest game of all time. It is definitely my favorite game, and I've had my fair share of games that I've binged on, so. To say it has a good community is only one of its many accolades. Also, the only game I found with regular spectators. That's true. There is like a lot of a spectator culture around Terra Mystica on BGA. Again, I think partly because the games are so long, but it's really cool. Alright, I'm just gonna do one quick thing. Does this player want to play? Are they actually here? Will we get a game? Answering these questions and more soon. There we go. And we get someone other than Rhodos. That's great. Ephesos. We will take it. So we are against Halicarnassus, largely regarded to be the most overpowered wonder, with a decently strong opponent there. And Olympia, largely regarded to be the least powerful of the wonders. So let's see what we get. So we could try to push for a science game. I do not think that this Halicarnassus player is going to let us get away with it. But if we do Scriptorium now, and then we hit Glassworks to get Workshop down, that might be possible. I've been doing less of the science all-in lately, so I think I'm just going to claim these resources. I mean, I do have to decide now if I want to try to go science. I think I have a strong enough wonder. I just want to try to outplay these opponents. And Alexandria might be going science. Guard Tower. Stone. I think I want Stone Pit here. Just building up our resources. We want to have access to our wonder stages here. So I do think that Marketplace is in this next hand. And if our opponent doesn't play it, I think we'll probably snag that. Nope, they do take Marketplace. Yeah, so... that's a shame. Marketplace would have been really nice, but I think we just want to go into round 2 with a military lead here. And hope that our opponents fight each other on science. So Scriptorium's coming around. And Olympia can afford it if they discard, right? Is it worth burying Scriptorium here? Or playing it? We could splash green. This is where I struggle in this game. I don't feel like I've got a strong enough understanding of it yet. I mean, burying Scriptorium isn't terrible. And then we grab one or both of the trading posts, maybe? Playing it means we're fighting against the lower rated opponent to try to beat the higher rated opponent. The higher rated opponent's game looks really good. So I think I'm going to bury it, and then hope that the rest of my Age 1 looks good enough. I forgot that I would need to buy. Yeah, I think we're going to get the trading post here. I think that's a pretty obvious choice. And we would love to see Caravansary in our opening hand next round. It looks like Halicarnassus will be able to beat us at military here. So we're kind of neither leading in military nor in science going into the next round. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Alright, folks, just joining here. We do have this as our last game. Last game of the stream, little Seven Wonders game. Not sure how I feel about this. In a lot of cases, I go for the East trading post here, but this opponent's going full bore science, and they really, I don't know that they're going to build up the resources. So this might just be a 3-point theater. This is tricky for me. I don't know exactly how to evaluate. I'm not too worried about coins going into round 2. I just don't know if these trading posts is actually going to pay any dividends. Theater. We're going theater. Can't think forever. Alright, so let's see. What do we need? We want a Caravansary. Do we see it? We do see it. I think I'm just grabbing that, despite how expensive it is, because that sets us up really nicely. And we are going to pass the school which looks really good for Olympia, though it's going to take another turn for it to get to them. So I think we want to play 2 military cards this age. I think we really want the military lead here. I think we're going to need those points and those relative points. Although that's the tough thing about Halicarnassus, they can play discarded cards. So they can just swoop military at the very end if they want. I don't want to overinvest. Play the archery range here. And then when we bury cards here, we do really need to bury some science cards. So I think there'll be one more coming around. No, I think that if we want this... I feel out of my element here. I don't feel great about how this is going. We're not going to play Courthouse. We could play Stables for one, or we could bury either the Stables or the Library here. Library hurts our opponent on the right, Stables hurts our opponent on the left, because we are going to get another... Can they afford that? They can't afford that, yeah. So I think I'm going to bury Stables. If we play Stables, let's just play Stables. That's fine, right? So this East Trading Post looks pretty amazing at this point. Okay, so there's 4 cards in this hand. There'll be 3 by the time it gets here and 2 by the time it gets there. So burying the Laboratory could have a lot of value here. We don't want our opponent getting that if we can avoid it. And then my coins go back to being flush to be able to play these last 2 hands. I just don't remember if there's anything useful in these last 2 hands is the problem. I just don't want Olympia to run away with it. But we're down to 1 coin. If we don't get paid for a resource this turn, which I don't know how much we're getting paid for resources. If we don't get paid for a resource this turn, then we're out of coins. So let's see. I'm okay passing the walls. I think I just grabbed the points from the statue here. I think that's the move. I think our coin situation looks fine. We're just grabbing points here. And worried about the science all-in. Ooh, yeah, so now... I'm tempted to build this last Wonder Stage. Because neither of these cards is doing too much for me. However, that means I can't bury a science card. I'm going to play Loom, and I'm going to admit that it's probably wrong. And then next round, we'll have a free bury here. We're going to have 11 coins plus the 4 that we get from our last Wonder Stage. And we're just going to hit as many points as we can. And maybe play 1 military card, depending. What's up, Playbook? Welcome to some more 7 Wonders. Okay. If Halicarnassus plays 2 military cards, if either of our opponents plays 2 military cards, they beat us. Or if Halicarnassus plays 1 and then doesn't discard, they beat us. So I think this is just a lucrative Philosopher's Guild here. And then we're going to come back with a card of some amount of value. We will be able to bury one of these 2 cards from our opponent. Ooh, and they get the Philosopher's Guild, the Scientist's Guild, whatever this is. Yikes. Okay. I think we're going to take these 7 points because we know we're going to be burying stuff here. I think we might be conceding first place here. I think we might just be taking second place. from this mad scientist over here. We did what we could to bury Scriptorium round 1. That kind of hurt the science game of our Olympia opponent here. But I feel like our Halicarnassus opponent is not doing their job here. So in this case, burying these cards doesn't do anything because Olympia's only seen this hand one more time. That doesn't hurt them. If we play Arena, it could boost our Lighthouse if we get that back around. But it's only 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only going to be worth 5 points. We're going to do that. We got their best option. And then we bury Academy. Ooh, see? This is the thing. Both of our opponents are looking really good here. I think we gotta bury Academy here. And then hope something of value comes around the next game. No. Gotta play my own game. I think this is the second place at best. So we're going to have to bury whatever this last round card is. And that gives us 7 for the Decorators Guild. It's 6 effectively here. And we'll see if it's enough. If we can get a couple military wins, it might be enough. So I expect them to play a 3-cost military card here if it's available. A 3-shield military card if it's available. Which means I think we do beat Halicarnassus. Yeah, we might have this. We might have this. Good tunes. Thanks, Claybo. It's just some lo-fi hip-hop. Ooh, that's a nice card for them. But I think with the military win, we do get this. Right? 69. Why did I ever doubt it? Also, nice. Alright, that was a great game. 69 points is very good. Where did it go so right? I mean, my thinking time was absurd. Maybe that's what helped. But we got some cheap military wins, right? Did we get maximum points from military? No, we lost round 1 military to one of our opponents and beat the other. But then we won the rest of them with 2 plays, so that's easy. We got a couple good gills. Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of scored across the board. Love that. Alright, folks, 3 for 3 today. Not so bad. Easy win. Exactly. You said it, Claybo. Easy win. I would say that's all I had time for today, but I didn't even quite have time for that, so. Time to go. Bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.